close. Probably not the smartest thing that Detroit driver ever did. I get why they wanted to get around that crane, but we're only a couple of, about a couple of miles away from I-35 at the moment. By the way, hey, how you guys doing? Today is the 24th of September. We are currently heading westbound on Texas Highway 255. It's a toll road, basically. It goes across from I-35, just a little bit north of Laredo. Goes across to Mexican border crossing. We're gonna be on making a delivery to a customer that is right off of this highway in an industrial park that is probably, I would say, within a mile or two of the border crossing, somewhere around there. MS Transfer or whatever, I can't remember what it's called. It's on Black Diamond Road. That's the street we're going to be delivering on. It doesn't deliver until tomorrow now. See here, we're in the Bonanza Hill area. I think that's what it says. Yeah. Bouncing out of the road sometimes makes it hard to make out what exactly it's saying. All right, so I'm very familiar with we'll just say the neighborhood that it's in. But I've never been to this particular customer myself. There is another customer in that same loop, that industrial park that I have delivered to with JCT before. And there's also a forwarding facility literally straight down the street from that other customer that I've been to, called S&R Forwarding, that I used to go to quite a few times when I was with Sear England on the OTR side. Very often I would end up, I'd have a load come down here to Laredo, and they would have me take the load over to S&R Forwarding and drop it, and then bobtail back over to the terminal, and actually in Laredo. Alright, in this case though, it's going to be another customer on the north end of that loop. You know, within walking distance of that last customer I went to there. Alright, so we picked this load up in Plainwell, Michigan, at the JBS facility up there. It's a lot of beef, and it's ultimately going to be going to Monterrey over here in Nuevo Laredo, as far as I know. I don't know if it's going anywhere, what else it's doing after that, but I know for sure it's going to end up in Monterrey. And then basically we're going to drop it over here at this forwarding place. We're not drop it off, but deliver it there. And what's going to happen is it'll end up being a Mexican driver. Usually we'll dock in right next to us or nearby. And the forklift operator will basically take the product out of my trailer and put it right into the Mexican driver's trailer. And then the Mexican driver will take it across the border, take it to the consignee over there in Monterrey, and then I don't know where it goes from there. Alright, so that's what's going on here. Let's talk about the trip over here. I guess a little bit on the eventful side, I guess. Alright, so now Plainwell, Michigan is just a little bit north of Kalamazoo, Michigan. If you're not really familiar with Michigan geography, basically you got I-94 goes across the southern end of Michigan from we'll just call it from Gary, Indiana area. Goes up alongside Lake Michigan for a bit, and then it starts going across to the east over toward Ann Arbor and Detroit. Alright, so Kalamazoo is in between Lake Michigan, which is what separates Chicago from Michigan. And, alright, so in between basically the Michigan side of Lake Michigan and Ann Arbor. And then Ann Arbor's before you get to Detroit. Alright, so picked up that load. Now the normal route I wanted to take was to take I-94 to the west from there over to basically to Gary, Indiana, in that neck of the woods, and then get on I-65 there. Or wait, no, actually no, not even that. I was going to take 94 and basically I-80 for the most part, across over to Joliet, Illinois area, and then take I-57 down from there to St. Louis. St. Louis, there were a couple of different options. One was to either take I-44 to the west through Missouri, take that down into Big Cabin, Oklahoma, which is in between Joplin and Tulsa, and then get on to US 69 southbound from there. That would have run me down to US 75. US 75 would have taken me down basically from over by where the I-40 corridor is at to Dallas. Then I could have basically ended up the same route that I took today, or most of this morning. I basically worked my way down to where I-35E and I-35W meet up in Hillsboro, Texas, and then I-35 straight on down to the area. Get out of my truck already. But this fly won't fly close enough to my window where I can even try to get it to come out. Oh, now it's... Damn it, come on. Alright, well, there was a lot of traffic delay over there, naturally, in kind of that Gary to South Holland area, right by where the Indiana and Illinois border are at for the most part. I didn't want to deal with that shit, so I ended up taking US 131, which is the same highway that my shipper's off of. Took it straight on down. Actually, I took it past I-90. I-80 and 90, whatever, and had planned on taking it to, I was going to try to work my way over to US 24 and then take 24 over to I-57, but it became a little bit more of an ordeal to get through that area, to take that route than I wanted it to be, so I ended up just working my way down to basically to Indianapolis. US 31. Get down into Indianapolis, and then I find out, because now my plan from Indianapolis was to take I-70 to the west from there to St. Louis area. Or not necessarily to St. Louis, but over to Mount Vernon. Effingham, Illinois. And then get on I-57 southbound from there, go through Mount Vernon, Illinois, and then down to basically go through the bottom, the southeastern corner of Missouri for like 24 miles or so, whatever it is, and ended up in Arkansas, get on to Interstate 40 over by West Memphis, Arkansas. Then the plan was I-40 to the west from there over to Little Rock, I-30 from Little Rock down to Dallas, work my way down to 35 and come down the same way that I went today. That's what ended up ultimately happening. Now I'll get into Indianapolis though. Again, the plan was to get onto I-70 from right there on the 465 loop, but that didn't actually happen. Before I got into Indianapolis, I noticed that I-70 was bogged down, like a dead stop kind of situation on the westbound side of 70, not too far west of Indianapolis, and I didn't want to deal with it. I ended up listening to one of the local radio stations there in Indianapolis. I think it was 103.3 or 103.1 or whatever that station was. I don't know. Some alternative rock station in Indianapolis. But at regular intervals, they were giving traffic updates, and they kept saying that there was a vehicle fire over there that had the lanes all shut down. So looking at my map, I saw that looked like my best option. Well, the next best option would have been interstate, or not interstate, but US 40. It's not too many miles north of I-70 that I could have taken west, but it had a lot of traffic issues too because of everybody trying to get around the incident on I-70. So So I ended up getting on a US 36 instead. Took that over to the west. And ended up in, what's that, Plainwell or I forget the name of that town. I went down some street there to get down into Plainwell to get to US 40 so I could take 40 across and take that state highway that goes right down to where the Loves and the TA are at on the west side of Indianapolis and that whatever, I forget the name of that town. Took it right into there, got on I-70 right there where the TA and Loves are at. So yeah, it was a bit of an ordeal that day, and it seemed like everything possible was going to irritate me there. If it wasn't that, it was Amish people slowing everybody down, and too much oncoming traffic coming on two-lane road for people to be able to safely get around people on their Amish carts and stuff, among other things. Alright, anyway, I end up in Mount Vernon, Illinois. That's that's one of my good favorite spots to stop at. I ended up getting there right when my clock reached 0. My 8-hour clock reached 0. It's already close enough where I can get here in 2 more shifts anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and bed down. I'm not going to run any later in the day and risk running out of not having somewhere to park. Let me get zoomed in for you guys. So we're starting to get pretty close here. We're currently, we're not 22 miles away. What the hell are you talking about? We're only 5.8 miles away from Mines Road, and we're actually going to make a right turn before Mines Road to get to the customer. All right, anyway, I like stopping there in Mount Vernon. I stopped at the TA this time around. Because right across the street is a Walmart. I was able to, I walk across, got some resupplied stuff for my truck, more food items and whatever. And then I ended up getting an external hard drive. Actually, Scotty D, he suggested that. I didn't think I really needed it at first, but then with the shell game I regularly play with my video files and trying to get with the content that I need to work on for both of my channels, the one you're watching now as well as my Eclipse channel, starting to get where it's filling up my new tablet's hard drive too quickly. So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and just get me an external hard drive. Figured maybe 1 terabyte drive will be sufficient, and I can just throw all the stuff on there and then work on it as I'm able to. The less time I spend going through major metro areas, it seemed like the better chance I'd have of having quite enough time where there's not so damn much cannon fodder content for me to put on my Clips channel. Anyway, I'm over there, I get my stuff there, and then after I go back to my truck, drop everything off, get everything put away that needs to be, and then instantly I go over to Applebee's, start having some food and drink. And while I was in there though, was another guy came up to the bar area and was we were chit-chatting some, and I could tell by the way he was dressed that he was probably a veteran. He had an olive green type of shirt on that looked like something I have myself. It said freedom on it with the American flag, right there on the sleeve, and he had an olive green or drab green, whatever you want to call it, hat on with the American flag on it and all that. I'm like, this guy's probably a vet, I'll bet. Yeah, but I didn't say anything about it at the time, and later on, because me, him, and this father and son couple, I don't want to, Port Industrial Boulevard. We're getting pretty close here. So I might need to finish this off here once we're actually parked. So we're just going to park on the street right in front of the customer. We're very within walking distance of the customer. Wherever I can find a spot over there. It's barely after 2 p.m., so I should have an easy time finding a place to park, if all goes well. Anyway, yeah, there are 4 of us there at the bar. I was wondering why Applebee's at that hour was had so little going on, and the woman at the bartender, yeah, she said she'd lived there for like 13 years or whatever, and she's a big Cardinals fan too, by the way. She was telling me about how, it wasn't very busy right now because I guess there was some kind of concert going on there in town that night. And then there were also some high school football games in the area that were going on at the time. And one of them was even a homecoming game too. So I guess a lot of people were out doing that kind of stuff. And thinking, well, maybe they're going to, all right, we're getting real super. Damn, fuck you, bumps. Alright, pain in the ass. Texas sucks with their roads. They don't even a brand new looking road like this, you can actually see the waves like that and get bounced all over the place, especially when you're in a truck. Right there where that truck is crossing over right there, we're going to make that same right. Follow him in. Alright, well anyway, we're all talking there. And the other guy, the guy who was by himself, his name's Jason. He made some kind of little comments about how like he used to jump, like he spent too much, he had jumped out of too many perfectly good airplanes and stuff. So naturally, when I first saw that, when I heard that, and seeing the way he was dressed, I got to thinking, this guy must be like an Army and Marine Corps vet or something. Probably Army. So I asked him, what did he do? I thought maybe he was 82nd Airborne or 101st or something along that line. Then it turned out it's not even, he said he was in the Navy. I'm like, Navy? And you're jumping out of airplanes. Interesting. Okay, so this customer right here at the corner is the one that I delivered to last time I was here. But the one we're going to, if we go straight down the street, if I hadn't turned here and made a right, the first building on the left pretty much is that customer. I turned to this direction, that way I could go around the block and then park along the curb on the same side of the street that the customer's on though. Anyway, he said he'd done so many drops from perfectly good airplanes, whatever, and he said he was Navy. I'm like, what the hell you do in the Navy where you jump out of airplanes? Only one job came to mind. Came to my mind immediately, and that was Navy SEAL. And he kind of in a roundabout way said that was I don't know. I don't know if I have anybody who's familiar with Navy SEAL program, whether you're intimately familiar with it or maybe you're a Navy vet and you just know how they do things, with that. So actually, I was talking to a friend about this yesterday, and he actually questioned it. Because I had reason to question if this guy was legit or if this guy was just yet another claiming to be a badass, but he's not. There were certain things about the conversation that made me wonder if he might actually have been legit. Alright, but other things about it that had me wondering if maybe he was embellishing an actual. I was pretty sure he actually really did serve. I could tell by the conversation. Certain things that get said. You can tell if you're a veteran. You can tell if someone is saying something that or this might be the place right here. Actually, this one right here. So let me go ahead and. It's funny how there's nobody here though. I'm gonna go ahead and back it up and. Just parked here on the curb right in front of their place, and maybe I got lucky tomorrow morning when they start their day. They might even come up to my truck and tell me I can go ahead and come on in and dock in and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't think it'll happen, but I actually have had that kind of thing happen before, though. All right. That should be good. Alright, that should be a good spot, bed down. I don't need a truck stop or anything. I got my own food and drink in the truck anyway, and it's good. Good quiet little spot. Alright, so anyway, going back to this the story with this guy. You know, he was like, the only reason I think you could go, why you would be jumping out of airplanes and you're in the Navy would be as if you went through Bud School or something, and which is basic underwater demolition school, which is part of the Navy SEAL training. And so I asked him, I didn't go into much detail because I wanted to first, if he really is a Navy SEAL, I know he's not going to volunteer any more information than he really needs to. There's that same RE Garrison I saw when I got off of I-35. Oh, they're turning the other way. All right. Anyway, yeah. Now, I know the Navy SEALs on the West Coast are all stationed in San Diego at the... Well, if you look online, they just give a more generic Coronado. But... I know I'm not a Navy vet, but my understanding, I could be wrong on this. Again, I'm not a Navy vet. I'm an Air Force vet, and I was under the impression that the SEAL teams that are based over there usually work at the 32nd Street Naval Base, which is a small base kind of in a dead end area. They're kind of on a little bit of a peninsula, if you will. And I go in there and there's a submarine base there. I know about the submarine base because I had an ex-girlfriend who, her twin brother, he owned a cabin cruiser, and he kept it docked right there at San Diego Yacht Club right there, and we would go right past the submarine base on the submarine side to get out to the sea, to the end of the ocean. And so yeah, what I've been told at least is that the SEALs are over there mostly, and they basically, when they go out on deployments, whatever they might end up, they usually go out on these subs, or for example, and go out through that sub base, which is 32nd Street. But there's also a North Island Naval Air Station, or as we all call it, NASNY over there, Naval Air Station North Island. We just call it NASNY for short, a lot of times in the area. So I had asked them, were you at NASNY or something, or 32nd Street? I didn't know if he was a SEAL or what. I just figured, he was over there somewhere, about one of those two locations. And they just said Coronado. I'm like, Coronado? So you were at North Island then, or were you at 32nd Street? So that's why it kind of made me wonder if this guy was maybe bullshitting a little bit. Perhaps, I don't know, because why didn't he say North Island or at 32nd Street? I'm military. I'm from Southern Cal, and I even went through MEPS right there in San Diego, and I know those, where those bases are at. So, doesn't even really matter so much, but yeah, all he said was Coronado, and if you look online, Google search it, that's all you're going to find from what I noticed is just Coronado. That's where the odd-numbered SEAL teams are at. It's, I don't know, I might call that somewhat sensitive information, but it's easy Google search, freely available. So, anyway, yeah, he didn't really start telling any real bullshit stories about where he was at, which I was kind of expecting to come. I was at this place or that place or whatever. What is R&E Garrison doing? Okay, backing up for something. They're over by that Sigma location. Not sure what they got going on there. Get out of my truck already, stupid asshole. Alright, so again, this is where I was kind of thinking maybe this guy could have been legit, because most people, when they bullshit about, being a Navy SEAL, more often than not, they're going to embellish some kind of story about stuff that they've done or something. But this guy was a little bit more, he gave plenty of little clues about, what you would expect, to be on be involved with the Navy SEALs service. But same time, no, he wasn't given any, he wasn't telling anything about where he'd actually been, anywhere specific that he'd been, or, any missions that he might have been involved in. So, I don't know. That's why I kind of wondered, is maybe this guy's legit, too. I don't know. I didn't ask him for his last name. I know his first name was Jason, but I didn't even ask him for his last name. And I know this is information that you can actually research. There's actually a website that you can go to where people make claims to be Navy SEALs. You can actually go on this particular website where actually real Navy SEALs actually run it, and they can actually tell you if this or that person's name was ever involved in Bud School. Anyway, the part maybe you guys who are Navy vets can tell me about. This guy said he went through basic training first, and then he went through A school, which I guess is your, I don't know, your guys, some kind of, the Navy guys, advanced training or whatever you guys call it. I don't know. Kind of like a tech school or something. I don't know what that means. And then he said right out of A school, he went to Bud School. And my friend, who's an Army vet, asked me, like, well, can they even do that? Get out of my truck already. Thank you. Finally. Because Special Forces in the Army, he said, they won't even look at you until you've already been in the Army, and, basically your top tier kind of person who they want. Not just with your physical capabilities, but also with, the other things about you too, I guess. Well, like upstanding character and whatever, work ethic or whatever it sounded like. Like they don't just let people go right out of basic training and AIT over in Army into Special Forces positions, I guess. But I told him, well, I don't, okay, Air Force, we have Special Forces too, called Combat Controllers and Pararescue. And we have another one called Tactical Air Control Party, or TACP as we call it for short. Now, those are our version of Special Forces. Now, I do know from our branch that, the guy for Combat Controller and Pararescue, they actually do recruit people right out of basic training. Actually, while you're still in basic training in the Air Force, they actually, in one of the classes or whatever, they'll ask, hey, anybody here interested in possibly becoming a combat controller or a pararescueman? And they would get the information, and tell them, okay, if you're interested, these are what the physical requirements are, like the physical fitness requirements and other stuff. Let me put 10-hour break on there real quick. And, they tell what, you can try out. Basically, show up at a certain location on base and do the physical fitness test for these particular specialties. And if you pass, then you can basically go through that. You're eligible to go through those schools. I don't know. There might be some other stuff involved there too. I don't know, but I know you have to pass the physical fitness part first, and then there may be other stuff after that. But if you don't pass the physical fitness part, then you don't qualify, basically. Maybe you can later on, but there were several people I remember going to basic training with who tried out for it. Some of them passed, some of them, I'd say more than half did not. I don't remember if any of them actually went to the schools, but yeah, that was right out of basic training. And they would have been going straight to that school right out of basic training, because that's how we do things in the Air Force. We go to basic at Lackland Air Force Base, and then you end up at our what we call technical training school, which are several bases that we might do them at, depending on what our career field is, and then eventually end up at our permanent base. All right, so yeah, maybe these guys who know anything about Navy and Navy SEAL service, maybe you can kind of shed some light on that. If basic trainees are even allowed to do that after after your advanced school, whatever, A school. Yeah. Anyway, though, I don't know. Maybe the guy was. I just know, like, he was starting to get, I think, drinking a little bit more to the point where he wasn't showing any outward signs of being drunk at all at first, but I could tell that the bartender was a little bit concerned about how much he'd had, and yeah, because she'd seen it a lot of times where someone will have these drinks, and they'll, he ordered food after we'd already been there for a good hour and a half at least. And she asked him, "Are you sure you're okay?" And for that, and she said, "Yeah, exactly. I have to ask because you'd be surprised how many people I've had come in here and say they're fine, and then next thing, in 5 minutes time with the same drink that they just ordered, they're passed out from being wasted. It's like, yeah, I know that routine. I've had that happen to me one time when I probably got a mild case of alcohol poisoning. I'll have to talk about that in a different video though. So. Maybe the next video when I'm picking up my next load, I'll kind of elaborate some more on that because it's going to take too much of this video's time. All right. Yeah, he started. I noticed right around that time because I told her, like, yeah, and tell him how many I ordered. I had 2 tall Blue Moons. It's just beers. And she said 2. Like, yeah, and then how long have I been here? About 2 hours. I'm like, yeah, exactly. And this was after I'd already told that guy, I don't like getting drunk. I have no problem with drinking, but I drink casually, and I usually take like a good hour to drink one whole drink and take my time and just enjoy it. And so, yeah, like there was 2 drinks in 2 hours there, and then... yeah, around that time we were, because the other 2 guys had already left. It was just me and him chit-chatting, and started noticing he was starting to get just a little bit more loud and obnoxious and interrupting a little bit more. I'm like, and I need to take a piss pretty bad, and I want to get back to my truck and have other stuff I need to take care of before I go to sleep. And yeah, I think it's definitely my cue to get the hell out of here because he's going to get annoying. And, I don't want to be around annoying people because I am one of those I'll definitely let you know how I feel kind of guys, or I'm blunt and bring a blunt person in the presence of someone who's drunk. I don't really want to go there with that, especially with the cauliflower ears too. It's I already have enough concerns about being around drunk people, knowing that I have cauliflower ears if they even notice it, but. All right. Anyway, yeah, we'll go ahead and press on with this whenever it's time to dock in. I'm sure we're going to be going through this door, there's this gate right here when it is time, and looks like it's going to be real super easy docking. All of these look like real easy straight back setups from what I can best tell. That's a plus. All right, so we'll see you guys. We'll press on with this for me in the morning. Alright guys, we are finally ready to dock in. I'm going to get backed up just a little bit more. Let's wait on this guy first. I need a little bit more room to make this turn. I'm going to have to basically put my tractor all the way across the street and then come back over with the way my tandems are positioned right now. Alright, so I got checked in here. Let me fix that a little bit. I got checked in here right at 6 with everybody else. That should be good, I hope. Alright. Okay, I'm going to cut all the way across like this. Hopefully that should get my tandems out enough where I can clear this fence. Alright, anyway, I got checked in at 6 with everybody else. And it was told to just have to, they would dock me in as soon as they, were sure that the Mexican driver was on site and ready. So it's already 1:37 local time now. So I'm going to be giving me some detention pay out of this, it looks like. Alright, they said open the doors, tandems all the way back. You know, and I just ran out of reefer fuel sometime not long ago, which it's this door right here. Okay. Let me get my tandem slid. This guy just screwed me over now. Alright, anyway. Yeah, I'm going to have to check my dash cam to see if someone siphoned it, because I swore I had about half a tank of reefer fuel when I got here yesterday. Should not have gone through that much. Even in hot weather like this, it should have been okay. But I guess it was a good time for them to do that. My product's not that far off where it's supposed to be. Alright, let me get turned around. Like I said, I was going to do a U-turn setup here, but this guy parking right there in my way there is screwing that up for me, and I'm not going to blindside in if I don't really need to. Like I said, U-turn setup would have been ideal. Now I have to do it the traditional way like everybody else does and overshoot and come back because this guy, oh no, or I could have waited, I guess, because he's right there. Be careful there, my tandems are sliding backward. Cluster here just to even get to my damn dock door. Alright, I might have to modify a little bit. Well, I don't know. I don't really have the kind of room to make this turn here that I want to, so I'm going to do it this way instead. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to have what I need to set up for set up. Should have made him wait because my doors are open. Let's see, all right there. I'm a little bit concerned about getting too close to that trailer that the other Mexican driver just dropped, so we'll come back out a little bit. Let's either get out and look to double check it or reset, so I'm a little more positive. Let's go that way, yeah. Looks pretty good there. I'm right on top of the tire tracks that were previously there. Actually need to get a little bit more in that direction. My tandems aren't even back, are they? Hang on. Let me double check. Looking in the mirror, it kind of looked like the tandems weren't all the way back. But looking at them physically, yeah, it looks like they are back, like they're supposed to be. Alright guys, we're good to go here. Yeah, so with it being 1:30, I've been here for about 7.5 hours past when I checked in. So yeah, we get some detention pay here. I don't have a pre-plan yet, but we'll maybe see if that changes once I send my bump the dock call. Dude, really? Not hit my... Turn this way.
Maybe approaching it when you come into work, put yourself in a bubble. Envision a bubble, whatever color you would like this bubble to be. What color do you want your bubble to be?
I mean, the first thing that came to mind, if I wanted a bubble, was like a blue, pinkish kind of thing that reflects in the light. I guess I'd get in that kind of bubble.
That dream that Sarah Connor has in the movie is how I feel like all the time now, and I can see the future. I
think back to earlier Sunday when I'm watching my guys, Geno Smith and Teddy Bridgewater plays. Guys, Mark Sessler, my friend, would call.
Alright guys, we're all done unloading now. It is right at 1500 local time. They want me to pull out of the dock door and go pay the lumper fee. It's a $100 cash fee, or if you have chicken remains, whatever it is, that would be $150. Yeah, $150 cash. Alright, so we're going to pull out of the door and then just put it in one of these spots over here. Alright. A knucklehead Mexican driver who docked in next to me rubbed against my mirror housing. Didn't do any damage to it, so I'm not reporting it, but you know, he just kind of love tapped it or rubbed against it with his open trailer door, and then I could tell he just wasn't really sure how to really control the trailer, so I got out and helped him out. Let me get my windows open, by the way. That was the other thing the guy was doing wrong. His windows were up. Even his driver's side window was up. I'm like, who the hell taught you how to back? Of course, who taught me too? Because I didn't put my four-ways on. Oh well, I'm already too far into this anyway. Alright, let me see if I got room to get my doors shut, but actually I don't even really care if the doors are open or shut at the moment. The reefer unit's not running anyway, so I'm gonna go get I'm gonna pay up and get my bills and we'll be out of here. Alright guys, we are ready to go here. Already got my bills. It was really quick. Just give them $100 cash and they give you the bills right there at the same time you're giving them the cash. They already have the receipt set up. Let me get out a little further. That way if there's any tail swing at all, I'm clear of apparently the Karen who was parked next to me. I went out, well, when I got out after parking there, I went out to see if there was enough room for me to get my doors closed. I found out I could not close them. And I think the guy in the door, in the spot to my left, was honking his horn like he was worried about me hitting his trailer with my door or something. I'm like, yeah, I'm looking right at your door, dipshit. Why don't you not worry about it? Alright, I could park right here by this guy, but I'm going to go a little further down. I'm going to go to the next block down. I'll get my doors shut. There is a truck wash right over here around the corner on that same street we use to come in and out. I could always wash out my trailer. Could wash out my trailer there. I'm going to probably wait till I find out what I'm doing for a reload, though, because I don't have a pre-plan yet. Yeah, I let them know, but, you know, out here, it's just, you never know what you're getting, so. Alright, I'm trying to stay below 5 miles an hour, too, so I don't get accidentally thrown into drive mode. But I needed more room to get my doors shut, so we'll go ahead and shut this one down here, though, in this video. Like I said, I might go over to the Loves down the, right down Mines Road, which, when we came in on 255, let me go a little, actually, we'll go a little further just in case any trucks turn that corner over there. So yeah, you just go a short distance west of here on 255 and then make the left onto Mines Road. Maybe go down a few miles and there'll be Loves over there on the right side. And then it's on a cul-de-sac, the same street that, same cul-de-sac that a brand new U.S. cold storage is at that It had opened last time I was here, which I don't even remember when I was here last. Probably at least a year and a half ago, I'd say. I don't even remember if that was where I was at, but at the time when I picked up from that U.S. Cold, it was actually like a brand new facility. So it's only been there like 2 or 3 years, perhaps. I don't know. I don't even think it's been that long. Could be wrong. All right. Otherwise, yeah, we'll see you guys later. Might reload here in the area, or I might end up going up Seguin, over on the east side, just a little bit east of San Antonio to pick up a Tyson load. We'll see how it goes. Most of the time I empty over here. I do end up going up to Seguin, but I have also reloaded here in town too. So we'll see how it goes. All right, we'll surprise you guys with whatever it is that's coming up next, right? Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on the next pickup.